Our proposal is to install food stands that provide Asian cuisine. Our proposal would also establish a farmers market run by Asians to vacate in the area where the food stands would be. Furthermore, we also want part of the profits to go back to Asian countries to help fight poverty, and partial part of the profits to buy trash bins to go put around the food stands and the rest of Times Square. Lastly, to further promote conscious consuming, around the food stand area, the flat screens will have the name of the food stands accompanied with the Go Green logo. If you look at Times Square now, the population of the people that are in that area are mostly Black, Latino, and white descent. The reason why is because there are really little ads, restaurants, and clothing stores that are involved or connected with the Asian culture. To better the situation, we think that more of the Asian culture should be represented in Times Square to make Times Square more diverse. For example, in Chinatown, there are a lot of places where people could eat the traditional Chinese food, which is a reason why there are more Chinese people in Chinatown rather than Times Square. Another example is there are more ads representing Asians in Chinatown as opposed to Times Square.
Food, restaurants, and shopping center ads. Difference between Chinatown and Times Square. Maybe that is why Asians are more comfortable at Chinatown than Times Square. Times Square does a job at attracting a diverse group of tourists and local commuters. However, there is a group missing, and we believe that our proposal can attract that group while simultaneously advocating conscious consumption. To begin with, as we walked around Times Square, we noticed that there weren't many Asians in Times Square. By this, we don't mean a lack of Asian commuters or Asian tourists. We mean Asians, period. Thus, our proposal is to install food stands that provide Asian cuisine. Our proposal would also establish a farmers market run by Asians to vacate in the area where the food stands would be. Furthermore, we also want part of the profits to go back to Asian countries to help fight poverty, and partial parts of the profits to buy trash bins to go put around the food stands and the rest of Times Square. Lastly, to further promote conscious consuming around the food stand area, the flat screens would have the name of the food stands accompanied with the Go Green logo. The future of this country will feature Asians prominently. Times Square needs to be ahead of the curve and institute Asian tourist attractions immediately. This new idea would spark an incentive in both the younger generation and the older generation. We also acknowledge there will be critics of this proposal that will state that Times Square does not have the money to fund these stands or to change their ads in time. However, I say if Times Square could settle all its requirements in time for the New Year's ball drop, which is a massive task, then we are sure that this small task could be accomplished. Also, food stands cost way less than renting a space in Times Square, thus it is affordable. Lastly, critics may also say that this proposal only presents the idea, but not the steps that would be taken to get this new image afloat. Although our proposal for the time being is only focusing on the Asian population that's missing in Times Square, that does not mean that we are picking one group over another. If this proposal does get approved, then we will establish other food stands such as an African cuisine to give back to Africa to help build schools and to help provide cleaner water. Hence, we would do this to help other countries that are in need.